So Adobe is starting to pay contributors for AI, and this is how it works. So we've got an image here, and the buyer, the person who's purchasing, will come. They like the image, they'll come and choose generate variations, and we can type in anything really. Now you'll notice there's reference style, reference composition. Let's go for composition. We just want to change the dress, so maybe you can just change the dress to red. Generate new results that match the outline and depth from this image. Stock contributors, this is the important thing. Stock contributors are compensated when you download generated variations. So put another way, the person who generated the original image will get some kind of compensation when the buyer purchases the updated image. And here I've just asked for a red dress, and it takes a bit of time. Now what I've noticed is that you can do this with, so you can see it's kept the style of the original image, the pose, and it's just transferred the pose to these newer images. And now if I decide, okay, I'm gonna go for this one, then the original artist will get paid. You can see here the original image, we've got the pose, the fingers have come out well, which is good. And this wouldn't be much use, but I have noticed that the size of the image actually goes down quite a bit. Now this is the second image. I've noticed that the background is quite different from the original image. Let's take a look at the original. So the original image has got a gray background, so maybe that's something I would want to state in the description of what I'm looking for. The earring's a little bit too large for this one. And then we've got this one here. I think the fingers look a little bit funky there, but the other ones actually came out looking fine. Now for this one, we'll generate variations, but what I want to do, not just to change the color of the dress, but also to maintain the kind of background. So we put in a stunningly beautiful model, and I've also referenced the paneling, the wood paneling in the background. Now Adobe has been saying for quite some time that they are going to compensate artists who they've used in generating their models. But it's kind of like been messaging for the time being. It's been really difficult to know exactly how things are going to be, what the compensation is going to be. And this one looks okay. It's not exactly the paneling that I would have wanted. But the messaging has basically been, we're going to pay artists who've contributed to the models, but they've not said exactly how they're going to contribute to the artists. And I think with Adobe, they probably realized that at some point they're going to have more in terms of AI generated images on their site than the original images from contributors. They've got millions from contributors, but I think they'll end up with billions of images from AI. And that, I think that's kind of a threat to their model, because they need artists who take photographs to actually contribute the original source material. And if they haven't got that, I mean, their business model is threatened. So I think they're trying to figure out how to make things work without destroying their original business model. And I think they've been struggling with that for about 5 or 6 years. And I think with this particular option, they're giving buyers an ability to actually give back to the original artist. So we've got here another option, which is the reference style. This references the style of the image and keeps the detail, changes the detail to something like a space alien with beautiful female form attends a fashion show. So we're completely changing it up. But I think we should end up with something that looks, it's what they call style transfer. It's taking the style of the original image and then putting it into a new image. And I think this is, in some ways, I don't think this is a space alien, but she's got funky looking jewelry. And we've got another one here. So you can see it's kept the style of the original one, but it's changed the composition. In some ways, I think the style reference is probably more what I was looking for in terms of how it captures the original, the essence of the original image. So this is something which is something I've really struggled to do. It's to get a tiny person standing on a piano keyboard. And that's something which this has done really well. And we start off with an ordinary keyboard. So that was the ordinary keyboard that we started off with. Generate variations and chose style rather than composition reference. And as for a small guy standing on the piano with dreadlocks, unfortunately he's giving me these sort of toys rather than a small person. But you get the idea. It's capable of doing things that the Firefly model is able to do. Now, at the moment, you can do this with images, but you can't do this with, you can't actually do this with video. So it's limited to images, and it's only certain types of images that you can use this with. I'll have a link to the images that we've created. Yeah, to the images we've created, and you can sort of check it out yourself. Now, some of the results are really quite good. This one is a man climbing up some steps, a businessman climbing up some steps. And we just started off with the reference image, which was this, just some steps, nothing but a bunch of steps. And it looks pretty good. I mean, this looks really usable. And I think there are kind of like constant improvements being made to the Firefly models. So maybe we'll see something like this for video at some point. I've already seen a similar feature in some of the audio AIs that I use. You can, well, not even AIs, it's just audio. You can remix audio using artificial intelligence. And it's really useful if you need something really specific. I think this one is one that I probably would use very occasionally. But I think the audio ones, I'm even using them now. I think they're very helpful. And of course, you can go ahead and do some, let's choose layered paper. You can go ahead and create variations based on the Firefly styles. So Firefly has got styles like hyper-realistic, 3D art, cartoon. So you can really kind of like, wow, this is pretty decent. You can really narrow down exactly what you want and get the customized results that you want. And at the same time, we're giving money to the artist who originally created the image. And I think this is probably a decent way forward. I don't think Adobe is going to be able to keep everyone perfectly happy, but at least this way the customers are getting something that they wouldn't be able to get otherwise. And the artists, the original artists, are getting some kind of compensation.